Hey guys, welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host as always, HarryWilmington. In today's show, we're going to be talking about how to pass a strength test that a woman might give you. Now, what exactly is a strength test? Well, it's not muscular strength. It's not you trying to have to go to the gym and lift or weight 50 pounds or whatever. No. A strength test is simply a woman doing something, saying something, or performing an action that is designed to see what you are made of, how you're going to handle the situation, and if it's a situation where you'll be able to handle it with grace and with ease, or if you're going to fly off the handle, okay? And a lot of these tests are very subconscious. Like, I don't think women go around purposely trying to say, hey, I'm going to test the guy today on X, Y, and Z. Like, that's not really how this works, although some women do that. But a lot of times what's going to happen is there'll be a situation that comes up where your reaction to it will now have her think, okay, let me see how he goes with this. And that's when the test starts, okay? Now, this is obviously something that as a man, you have to understand how to do well, because the idea behind the test is to see if you're going to put up with some stuff for hers, how you're going to respond in the moment, and basically trying to see if the guy that you are trying to present to her is the exact guy that you say you are when difficulties arise, okay? And so I'm going to go over real quick, just 8 examples of tests that women would possibly throw out there and how to handle those kind of tests, just to give you an idea of the kind of guy that you need to be presenting yourself as in these scenarios and how you should realistically be. Not saying you got to be like me, but like in terms of being able to deal with situations, women are always going to be looking at how you handle situations with them, because they're going to equate it to how you're going to handle situations when other things arise in life, whether it's having kids, whether it's dealing with difficult waiters or people that are rude to her or rude to you, etc. Okay? So this is why women do that, and we want to make sure that you're able to pass these strength tests. So here we go. First one. First strength test is showing up late. There might be a chance where you plan a date with a woman and say it's like your third or fourth date. She shows up like 20 to 30 minutes late. Now, this is not always an intentional test. Sometimes women really just take a minute to get ready and they lose track of time. But I have also found that this is a thing where a woman's trying to see how much you value your own time and if you're going to ask her to value it as well. And a lot of men don't. A lot of men they'll go on a date and show up 30, 40 minutes late, and the guy's just like, well, I'm just happy to see you, whatever, this and that. But understand that a woman's time is valuable, and she knows that. And so they need to feel that you also recognize that your time is valuable as well. Because as much as we think that women are trying to run the world, women don't really want to outrule their guy. They don't want to, feel like they're on a higher plane than you are. So if you're doing things or responding to her in ways that make it look like you're just happy to be there, you're just so glad that she chose you and you're not going to stand up for yourself, well then, she might actually start to lose interest. So what do you do when this kind of thing happens? Because you don't want to yell at her either and be like, oh, you showed up late, you're just disrespecting me and blah, blah, blah. Because again, women are also testing for your reaction to stuff. When she shows up late, are you going to fly off the handle, or are you going to talk to her in a reasonable tone, but at the same time put her in place and say, hey, that wasn't cool, don't do that. So what I would typically do is, if it happened, say the first time it happened, I'd be like, hey, I wouldn't be mean about it, but just like, oh, man, we showed up late. Okay, well, just, I had something, I'd be like, I had something to do after this, so our time's gonna be cut short. So rather than trying to argue with him about some stuff, I just take away my time. Let's say our date was supposed to be an hour and a half long. If she gets there 20 minutes late, well, now we only have an hour and 10 minutes, because I'm not gonna give you back those 20 minutes because you were late. So I would just be like that. Well, I just say she wants, oh, it seems like a date was so short. Well, you got here late, so, I want to spend more time, but I got other things to do. That usually lets them know early on, hey, I'm not going to add on extra time because you decided to be late. So if you want all of my time, then you got to show up on time. Now, if it happened the second time, honestly, at that point, I probably would just cut it off, because I learned years ago that if a woman that's doing that repetitively will keep doing that, and you could say all things in the world, it might not work out. But I've literally before left dates. I had a girl I dated a while back, years ago, and she showed up 20 minutes late for a date. Well, at the 15-minute mark, I just went home, and she called me from where we were supposed to meet and said, hey, I'm here now, where you at? And I said, I left. I said, yeah, I got other things to do. You didn't show up on time. I'm not waiting all day. So It is what it is. But the point is, you have to do that kind of thing because you don't want women to get the idea that they can just push you around and that you're going to be on their timetable. They need to be on your timetable as well. Another way a woman might test your strength is to use sarcastic put downs when she's talking to you. Now, I'm not a fan of sarcastic put downs at all because I got bullied in 6th grade. So I make it a point early on in my dating relationship with anybody or on that first or second date where I'll say, I'm not really a fan of like the whole sarcasm thing. Like I'm funny sarcastic. I'm not mean sarcastic. I don't make jokes or jabs at people. And so this is a thing where at some point, that woman's going to come to you and probably say some stuff that might sound like out of pocket, making fun of something on your face or something on your arm or making fun of how you move or how you eat or whatever. And when this happens, again, if you already had the conversation early on that you don't really joke that way, this is when you can say, hey, like, whoa, that's not cool. Like, we ain't going to go into that realm. Like, like you need to be able to stand up for yourself that this is not how you guys are going to communicate. Even on a joking level, you can say, hey, you know what? I mean, I'm a jokey guy, but I know there are some things that might sound like jokes to one person, but is actually being taken very seriously. And so I don't want to go in that realm and I don't want that either, okay? And so when this happens, you have to be able to stick up for yourself and say, hey, that's not cool. Like, let's not do that. Now, I've dated women before that did that, and I get that conversation. If at which point the ones that want to stick around will be like, okay, my bad, I didn't mean to do that. The ones that it's a habit or they just grew up in a family that did that, well, I let those women go. Because honestly, a lot of this stuff, like there's never any time, I don't want you to think that you have to make a woman suddenly stop doing a thing or that you can't ever at any time walk away. If she's legitimately throwing out these strength tests and you're saying things to defend yourself or to say, hey, that's not cool or don't do this thing, and they're still doing it, you can walk away at any time. Like the biggest strength move you can pull is being able to be like, well, I'm out. Like, I don't want to deal with that. And you seem to be wanting to keep doing that thing, so I'm out. And I find that, honestly, will help you pass a lot of tests and make women like stop testing you altogether real quick if they recognize that you are really serious when you say that you will actually walk away if in the event that they're not, doing the things that are necessary for you to function in a relationship, including being overly sarcastic with put downs. Third thing, let's say she's yelling at you during fights. Well, a lot of women I find surprisingly have bad communication skills. Like they think when they're talking, that means they're communicating well. But when they start getting loud, they start yelling, they start cursing and all this other stuff, that's not really them communicating that well. So when that's happening, basically what's happening is they're saying, I don't think you're going to get my point, so I have to forcefully present my point to you because I want you to really feel that I feel this thing, okay? But also what I've learned is that as the guy in the relationship, she's looking for you to set the parameters of how fights work. I know it sounds dumb because you're like, parameters of how fights work, but no. You can have a disagreement or an argument with a woman and still keep it respectful, still keep it in the realm where the tones are relatively even, where everybody's hearing each other's points of views and offering suggestions and solutions. And so a lot of times I found as the guy, you got to do that. Okay, so she starts coming to you, hey, I can't believe you, blah, 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 blah. You got to be the one that's calm and cool the whole time. Because again, she's testing for strength. She wants to know that if she comes to you with any kind of storm, you're going to be able to kind of be like, let's calm this down and let's put things together. That's why it works so well for us being the less emotional ones, because two people cannot be overly emotional in a relationship. One of you guys has to be able to turn the ship around and calm things down and bring things back to a soothing conversation. And that, my friend, gets to be you. So you as a guy, got to get over being extremely butthurt. Got to get over like being overly emotional when women say things to you. But also, you got to be the one that's going to be fine with being like, hey, babe, like, look, I'll listen to anything you got to say. We can talk, but you're not going to yell at me. You're not going to call me out my name. Again, I don't know who you dated in the past, but that's not me. So if you got a discussion or disagreement, fine. This is a safe space. We can talk, but we're not going to yell. If you're going to yell, I'm going to leave. And then you got to be true to that. If she starts yelling again, hey, babe, you're yelling. Let's keep it calm, because if you yell again, I'm out. Will you? Okay, and now I'm out. And then you remove your attention. Again, removing your attention is really a big, solid tip for you guys that want to show strength. It's like you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm pretty much ready to give this up. Like, I'm going to walk away from this. When you decide to get your act together, we can talk. If you don't decide to get your act together, I'm going to stay over there, have a nice life, okay? But yeah, she wants to see that you're going to be willing to set the rules for how these fights are going to go. Because ultimately, even when she's fighting you, she wants to work in a way that's going to be effective for you and her as a couple. Okay, so that means having to be able to not be afraid, because women don't want you to be afraid of them. Like if she's coming to you yelling and you're like, "Oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. I don't know." Well, that's not what she's looking for. She's not looking for you to cower. She's not looking for you to even like acquiesce to her point. She's looking to see if of the two of you, you can be strong enough to handle when she's yelling, but also be able to put her in her place and say, "Babe, that's not cool." And I've heard so many women say that they get turned on by their men who are able to put them in their place and like fight them correctly. It's the weirdest crap, but it's absolutely true, okay? So use that as a strength tactic. Another thing, testing your strength, disagreeing with you about a topic or subject. And this is a thing women will do early on at some point where you guys are having a conversation about we'll say something like politics, okay? And she brings up a point about something, and then you bring up a point about something, and she disagrees with your point. What's gonna happen now? Well, did she actually disagree with your point? Or is this a test to see if you'll bend to what her thoughts and feelings are about something if she disagrees with you? And a lot of women test for this, and a lot of men fail that test because you're thinking, well, in order to keep her in good graces with me, I gotta, change my mind and agree with the thing that she said so we're on the same plane. But no, because again, a woman's looking for you to lead. And oftentimes I find is that women are actually willing to be open to hearing your position to then change their mind. So they're looking for you to be the leader. They're looking for you to have your own opinions because that might actually sway her opinion and might give her different ways of thinking about things that she hadn't thought of before. And women are always open to like conversations that help them grow, that help them learn things, that help them to feel different things. But you cut all that off if you're going to be the simp that suddenly says, "Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right, dear." Like women don't want a yes man or a guy that's going to be begging for their approval or changing their mind about stuff, because what else are you going to change your mind about? Are you going to change your mind about other things that you used to have a strong position on, but then she came along and swayed it? Who else is going to come along and sway your position on stuff that could then put you and her in danger? Okay, so that's a test. So when that happens, if you say something, she's like, "Well, I don't agree with that, blah, blah, blah." Don't be like, "Oh, I understand." Just be like, "Well, I mean, if you don't agree, that's tough, but this is based on my experience, this is based on my research or whatever, so take it or leave it." And leave it like that. And she'll actually appreciate that more because, again, it's going to help her to grow. It's going to help her to think about things in different ways that she hadn't considered before. So do that instead, okay? Another thing a woman might do is tell you about men who are hitting on her. Now, this is especially true for you guys that are that have been in a relationship for a while. Maybe she's starting to feel like you're not giving her the kind of attention you used to, or you're starting to take her for granted. She might come to you and be like, "Hey, so yeah, I was at the grocery store the other day, and this guy was like trying to talk to me and trying to get my number and this and that." And so for one, she's doing that because she wants you to know that she's still hot stuff and that you need to respect her. But also, she's doing that to see what your reaction is going to be. Are you going to get jealous if she tells you about other dudes out there that are trying to hit on her? Are you going to try to say, "Well, you can't go out by yourself anymore. How could you take the other guy's attention?" Or are you just going to be like, "Well, I mean, yeah, baby, you're hot stuff, and I'm glad you came back home to me." Like, you basically need to be like this, flat line, indifferent to the things she's telling you, because that indifference is going to turn her on. And also not seeing you freak out or fly off the handle because some other dude like that she told you about is hitting her. She still came home to you. She's telling you that story because she wants you to know what you got. And so you flying off the handle is you failing the strength test. Do not be jealous of other guys that she tells you about, unless, of course, there's always, asterisks to the rule. Like, obviously, if she's like going out to parties and it's like, "Oh, this guy hit on me, and then he tried to make out with me, and then he hugged me, and then he kissed me," then you have reason to worry, obviously. But a simple story of like, "Oh, I was at this place and somebody hit on me." Like, if you were dating a hot girl, dude, it's going to happen. Get over it. All right? Continuing on. Another thing that she might do to test your strength is coming to you with a criticism. And this is one that guys absolutely fail all the time. And I've done it too. Hey, I've been the guy, even with me teaching you guys this stuff, I've had times where I forget that part of being a relationship is a woman's going to come to you and criticize you just because you're going to have some blind spots that you're not aware of. You're going to think you're the hot stuff. Your ego's going to be like you're the best guy ever. And she's going to come to you one day and say, "Babe, so I haven't been getting as many hugs as I thought I'd want to get." Or, "Hey, babe, so you said this thing the other day and it hurt my feelings." And your first thought is going to be, "I got to defend myself." And you're going to tell her, "That's not a thing. That's crazy. You heard this thing wrong. You misinterpreted. How dare you? I'm so great." You're failing a test, dude, because you as a guy got to take the good with the bad. So there's going to be times where she's absolutely praising you. You're such a great father. You're a great boyfriend. You pay attention to me, this and that. So if you can take that, you got to also be able to take the stuff when she says, "Hey, babe, this is the blind spot you have." And being able to take that criticism, she's going to feel great that you're actually open to hearing, because it means you're open to grow. But more importantly, you are, by default of that, creating a safe space for her to be able to come to you and not feel like she's going to be judged or mistreated or harmed simply because she pointed out something in the relationship that might be starting to break down a little bit, okay? And so you got to be strong enough to take that. You got to be strong to take that criticism and say, babe, I hear you. Let's work on some stuff. Let's see what we can do to make this better, okay? That's a very, very important thing for women to feel from you, because it doesn't take anything to get praised all the time, but it takes real strength as a leader to be able to hear a criticism and say, you know what? Let's examine that and let's see how we can work on it. That takes more strength than being the whiny guy that's trying to deny that there's ever fault you have ever. That doesn't make you look strong. It makes you look like a scared little boy. All right? Continuing on, another thing she might do to test your strength is throwing a fit about something. Throwing a fit about something that has no reason to have a fit. You know, something simple as like, well, why didn't you take out the trash right now? You always blah, blah, this. Again, sometimes women are going to throw fits because they want you to put them in their place. They want to feel you coming against them and saying, babe, this is not the time to act that way. Babe, you can just talk to me about it, but don't be, acting out of pocket. Like, especially what I find is this. I find that the less a woman trusts you and your ability to lead a relationship and to be the masculine guy that she needs, the more these kind of tests are going to come out. So that's why it's good to know how to be a more masculine man, how to show up in your relationship as the man that's going to be the leader, that's going to be trusting in his decisions. And if you need help with that, go to the website, introvertdatingsuccess.com. I got some great programs there, like my program, Introvert Dating Success, just like the name of the show, which will teach you the ins and outs of not only how to attract and land the women of your dreams, but also how to show up in your relationships so that way she is testing you less and actually trusts you and your masculine core, okay? That's at the website in the products tab. But to the point is that, she's going to be throwing more and more fits as she trusts your emotional ability to handle the situation in the relationship less and less, okay? So when she starts doing that, you got to stand your ground. This is not acceptable. Hey, babe, like, chill out. Like, this isn't, you can kind of like relax a little bit. If she's throwing a fit about random stuff, if she's throwing a fit about things you're actually doing, that's a different story. But stuff that's trivial that she's making a big deal out of, oftentimes, women are going to have these things that seem like big deals to them, and your job as the guy is to take those big things and make them significantly smaller to where they're practically nothing, or at least there's a better handle on it, okay? But her throwing a fit at you, again, that's her testing your strength, is testing you to see if for whatever reason you're able to actually like handle her and actually put her in her place. Because let's say you two have kids. Kids are going to throw a fit all the time. If you can't even defend yourself against her or get her to calm down, there's no way she's going to trust you with the kids. And I think that's a lot of problems that a lot of men that are married have, is that they never really did anything to discipline their woman when she was, getting out of pocket or whatever. And so how can she trust you with the kids now when you couldn't even handle her or get her to act right? It's not going to happen. And then the last example of a way one might test your strength is flirting with you or dropping innuendos. And this is especially for you guys that are early on in the dating process. And I say this is a strength test because, women are really going to come to you early on and be like, hey, I want to have sex with you. Let's go back to my place. Okay? It's not. But they will be throwing out little flirty things or saying little innuendos that give the idea of some kind of sexual connection happening or some kind of feelings of her wanting you in that physical way. And a lot of guys, especially guys that are virgins or guys that haven't had a lot of hookups, that was me back in the day. I used to be very, very nervous of when a woman would I remember I showed up to a girl that I was friends with. I had a huge crush on her. I showed up to her door one day just to visit, and she was dressed head to toe in lingerie. And my part of my head was like, oh crap, this is my chance. I've been friends with this girl for 3 or 4 years where she's given the open door. But then the doubtful, scared part of me was like, but it's her house. It's just her pajamas. This is how she felt most comfortable. It doesn't matter if it's me. We're just friends. It is what it is. Because I was too scared to make a move. So understand, if you're going around women and let's say they start building crushes on you and you're not making the moves you need to make, they might start doing these bolder moves that are still going to be hints, because they're not going to come out fully, but they're going to hint to you, hey, stupid, I got lingerie on. Hey, dummy, I'm saying these sexual things. I'm flirting with you. I'm putting my hand on your shoulder. What more do I got to do? But when you don't make that move, to, ask for that date, to get that kiss, to move things to the bedroom, all that shows her is, oh, he's not as strong of a guy as I thought he was, because he's scared of little old me in my lingerie, my makeup. She's a little scared of me with my femininity and my curves. He's afraid of me. He's worried about how I'm thinking about this, and he's not even going to try to attempt something. women are looking for us to make the moves. You're thinking, I don't want to get rejected. That is part of strength. Part of showing a woman a man's strength is saying, I could go into this thing right here and face absolute rejection, but I'm still going to do it because it's what I want. And that is hot to women. What's not hot is you trying to be Mr. Nice Guy and, well, I don't know if I want to touch you, princess, and are you okay? And can I ask you every 5 seconds if I can touch you, if I can kiss you, if I can hold you? That looks weak, okay? And so when women are giving you these kind of signals, you're going to have to make a move. Sometimes you're going to strike out. Sometimes you're going to get all these signals that indicate that she wants a move to be made. And then you make the move and it still feels awkward and she says nothing's happening. But sometimes you'll just make a move and go for some stuff. And next thing you know, you're laying in the hay, rolling it up together in the bedroom together, okay? But you got to be more confident, be more bold, be more daring, because that feeling of daringness and boldness is going to feel like strength to her, and that's going to make her want to have you, okay? So these are just a few examples of ways that women will test your strength, and you might have heard this whole podcast and be like, I am so anxious right now. I'm so afraid to do all those things, and I don't know if I make these right moves or not. So I got a website, bruh, introvertdatingsuccess.com. Go there, check out my programs, my podcasts, my eBooks. You can go there now to get a free copy of my best-selling book for men, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, which will teach you why all the stuff you're doing now that I used to do will cause you to lose women, okay? It's a free read and a free audio ebook. Just go to the website, sign up for the video coaching newsletter, and you will have access to that right away, all right? In the meantime, go to the website as well to click on for sign up for one-on-one coaching. I offer that as well. And of course, if you have any questions you want me to answer on one of these shows, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. If you want to show your support, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/HarryWilmington, or leave a cash app at $HarryWilmington. That's all I got for today, guys. I'm doing 25 days of shows in a row, so the next show will be tomorrow. So check back with me tomorrow for another episode, all right? I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.